As far as the state of the polity is concerned, so we did tell you at the beginning of the program that Rivers State will be getting out to the polls tomorrow for the local government elections that are taking place across the 23 local government areas, and 19 political parties are participating. But let me bring in my guest, Professor of Strategic Management and Human Capital Development, Executive Director, Development Specs Academy. Prof, thank you so much for coming on the program, and I want to apologize. Thank you for your patience as well.
Thank you.
So, Prof, let's begin with your overview of the pulse of the politics. There are a lot of fireworks, including what I call political hot air going on. So let's start with the PDP now saying, look, we're going south. No matter who's ox is God. That has generated a lot in the polity. The APC has also come to say, well, we may have endorsed the president, but you are free to come pick ticket and contest in the primaries. What do you make of what is really happening with the political space and the pulse of the polity?
I think there's nothing wrong with what's going on. Beginning with the APC, the statement they've made is suggesting, oh, there's the democratic space, it's open, everybody is free to contest. I can relate to that. But you may not know, I have a black belt in Shotokan Karate. And with that skill, if all you have is traditional wrestling skills, and they open the village square and they say, oh, everybody is free to come and contest. You know, if you enter, I'll take you to your ancestors in less than 1 minute. So the APC, they know anybody can come out, but the question is whether they can take on the man who is already on the field. So it's understandable. In the case of the PDP, I have a concern to share. PDP has it as part of its, if you like, rules of engagement, that there will be rotation between North and South. That was violated by the last engagement of Alhaji Atiku Abubakar. The party ignored its own rules. Now it says it's going south. It makes sense. It doesn't make sense. The other question to consider is whether it's going north or south. Can we say today that the PDP actually is a political party capable of contesting competently with candidates that can be taken seriously? That's the question the party should ask itself. Naturally, Atiku would want to come out among others. Whether there will be consensus around that candidacy, especially given the battered condition of the party, is another matter. They are going south. That is supposed to give it an appeal. I don't know whether that will work. So all things considered, yes, political fireworks, but what I see are political enthusiasm extinguishers all over the place. Much of what is going on is not likely to draw traction. No one is deceived by the politics. People will do more of wait and see. Whichever of the parties and the candidates surface above the murky waters and looks credible and shows capacity to contest, that's what the environment will fly with. But any comment now will be purely speculative. The air is unclear. ADC is wobbling. Most of the people there have issues. So we'll just wait and see as far as I'm concerned. Nothing to panic about. Let's see what or who floats above the water.
So, Prof, now that the APC has shown us what they have on offer, I was just talking with Mr. Reno. Towards the end, we're talking about trying to get into the economy for want of time. The APC has been clear that it's capitalist in its approach, at least the government of Bola Tinubu, as far as this is concerned. And we see the effect on businesses, citizens, and the perception of the international community. If you aggregate all of that, you can make of it whatever you want as a citizen. But where I'm going to with my question is to the effect that now that this posturing is quite clear and the president is not shifting grounds, just saying, look, wait and see what is going to happen because I know I'm in the right direction. What should be the counter-argument from the opposition that Nigerians may want to listen to?
The opposition has to come up with solutions. I think already there's something to the advantage of the opposition. It is a fairly widely acknowledged fact that the government took the second step first, rather than the first, in the matter of the subsidy. The palliatives came a little late. There are missteps. But quite frankly, when I look at the opposition, and I've said this on your program before, I don't know what the opposition represents. I don't know what argument they are putting forward that they are going to put forward. What is clear to me and to you and to a lot of people is that people are suffering. Yes, there are macroeconomic indicators showing gains in savings, showing increased investments drawn into the country. All of that, nobody can deny it. But in the end, all of us are from villages, not from towns. All of us have cousins, have brothers, have sisters. 90% of them are not in cities. How are those people feeling? That's the question to ask. How much of these gains are trickling down to them? Now, the position of the government is that it will trickle down over time. I haven't had anybody say convincingly why it will not trickle down over time. So on both sides of the argument, we'll wait and see. But one thing we must admit, at the risk of even sounding mischievous, is that things are not looking good right now. To move from there to say that things will not be looking good tomorrow, that will be pushing speculation a little too far. So my position is, the reality is what we are looking at now. Let's see the change. And we are not getting narratives from the opposition that suggest that there's a change we can see, other than the claim and advertised aspiration to replace the APC. With what? I haven't seen. With the characters on the table, we have their history, all of them. I don't know what to choose between them and even the APC. So, again, I say, we watch to see what floats above the water.
Prof, I'm almost lost for words.
Oh, yes.
with your landing thought. I'm trying to get around it. They are also accusing the ruling party of what I would term tactical immobilization. So there are people, for the candidates, for instance, Peter Obi and Atiku Abubakar and the rest of them, it appears there are persons that are appointed, like in football, they call it man-marking. Tactically mobilize the person and persona to bring him down.
To closely mark them.
Yes, and then for the political party, they seem to be running helter-skelter in terms of court cases.
Look, Geoff,
so
let's look at it this way.
Yes, sir.
If we are playing a game of football, my business is to prevent you from scoring against my team. It's only a foolish government that will allow the opposition to run it out of town. It's also only a foolish opposition that will expect that the government in power will carry it on its back for it to overthrow it. So if they are complaining that they are doing close marking on Peter Obi, on Atiku, really that's what they ought to do. If they can do anything to prevent Peter from contesting, they'll do it. If they can do anything to prevent Atiku from contesting, they'll do that. So it's for both Atiku and Peter and whoever else is aspiring to ensure that doesn't happen. I understand that Rotimi Amechi is also contesting. That's an astonishing candidacy. They must have reason why they think he's a viable candidate. But to the substantive issue you raised, they are saying that they are being subverted by the APC. Do they expect to be facilitated by the APC? That's the question they should ask themselves. They should ask themselves, why did we lose the last time, and what is it we need to do to ensure we don't lose again? That should be their concern. If they are hoping to draw sympathy from the public by crying and rolling on the ground, sorry, they will buy detergent to clean their clothes. Nobody. There's no element of pity in this matter. Design and adopt the right strategy, apply it, take out the person you want to take out with your strategy. This is not about violence or crooked means, but demonstrate the capacity to contest and win. That's what is needed at the moment. The whining has lasted for too long and they should stop. At some point, the claim was that, the APC has been subverting the parties by giving people 50 billion naira within the party. 50 million, that's enough to subvert your party, and you say it's a political party. Get real.
Prof, you came with gun blazing for the opposition. I'm wondering how they are thinking about the strong words. Let's go away from politics for a moment and talk about governance issues. I know that when the president visited Yokohama in Japan, the issue of the booth being manned, the gentleman went there, he said he had to be an honorary consul. That created a lot of furore. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs came and said, look, that booth is meant to be opened on the second day for a 3-day event. That even calls a lot of questions. While we're trying to get around that, Bayo Onanuga, the spokesperson of the president, came and reeled out that they are not there for such outposts, showpiece, or showmanship. They are there for other forms of negotiation. It looks like, on one hand, the foreign ministry is saying one thing, the spokesperson is saying another thing. Talk to us about the messaging and management of public space in terms of communication, which is your expertise, by this government.
Government communication should always come out as a one source or at least one theme engagement. If I am Channel's studios The reason why I'm here should be known to everybody connected with me, with Development Specs Academy. If you now ask our Director Training and Legal Services and he says I came here to exchange pleasantries with a friend, and you have 3 different explanations, the impression you get is that, oh, Development Specs doesn't seem to have its narrative in order because we now don't know who is the actual spokesperson for the organization. So that's the image that the outing in Japan has given, and it is not the correct one. It's not the way to go. Foreign affairs, what I suspect here is limited liaison. If there's a statement coming from the foreign affairs, we must avoid a situation where a counter statement would come from any other person connected with the government. So the optics are not good. But we can also say that optics are bad all around at the local level. If you, for instance, pay attention to the Ministry of Information, no matter the odds being raised, anytime the Minister of Information speaks, you're not in doubt what he's saying about specific government policies or government trajectory, etc. Now, if other people then speak on the same matter and give counter narratives, it becomes a different thing. But you notice that has not been happening at the local level. So the incident out there is from poor liaison, consultations. If somebody has spoken and I know he has spoken, for me to speak on the same matter, I'll either align with what he has said, if that's what we intend to say, or move from what he has said to explain an aspect of it that was not captured in what he said. But if both of us make absolutely mutually exclusive statements, it will not give a good optics. And I think that's the negative that came from that. But again, it is an incident in the life of the people and the government, and life goes on.
You know, Prof, as we begin to wind down, one of the things that I always like to ask you because you wear many caps, communication, leadership, and several other things that you do. And this is very
Fortunately, you haven't said I'm an unknown gunman. That's the cap I hope you're not assigning to me.
You can never be an unknown gunman. It will never happen. Never. So when you look at the crop of politicians we have today, what kind of succession do you think, and this is just a generic question, that whether it's APC, PDP, just look at the crop of today's politician, because the younger successor generation are watching them. What do you think they're handing in from a leadership point of view, based on what they received, as we close?
From a leadership point of view, based on the notion of leadership as the business of ensuring the welfare of the people and the state, without excluding anybody, we've, in the last 25 years, evolved a culture of what you might call a burglary-based form of godfatherism, where people put somebody in their stead when they are leaving, and through the second person control the state by proxy. That is likely to continue across all the parties, across every part of the country, because to begin with, if you look at the entry requirement, how much you have to pay to get nomination form, how much you pay it will cost you to run through the primaries, how much endorsement you'll need to get from those who are already in charge. It will tell you that, look, it's likely to be more of the same. And the younger ones are taking the cue from that and looking for whom to please in order to be reckoned with. That's very bad politics. That's very bad optics. That's also very bad leadership recruitment. It might change in some form, but the broad strokes we are seeing show that it will be, okay, Ikechukwu, who is sponsoring you? Who are your godfathers? What assurances are you going to give for us to support you? That's likely to continue, unfortunately. That's my reading of the environment at the moment.
Prof, it's always a pleasure and a learning curve whenever we speak to you. Professor Ikechukwu is Executive Director at Development Specs Academy and the Professor of Strategic Management and Human Capital Development. Prof, thank you, and thank you for your patience and understanding, sir.
Thank you.